What exercises should you not be doing for strength sets?
I just want to give you a quick disclaimer. I've watched this back and this is a lot of information. A lot of information that could help, but a lot of information that could overwhelm a lot of people. So if you are someone that's a beginner in the gym and you really don't have the capacity to take in all of this knowledge, I would potentially just save this video for later and come back to it when you feel you are in a more advanced lifter. I'm not trying to overwhelm anyone on TikTok. I'm just trying to give out the information that I know, that I have learned from multiple courses and, you know, from multiple years of being in the fitness industry.
If you haven't seen my I can't speak, honestly. If you haven't seen my previous video, I basically spoke about how to maximize glute growth. You need to be incorporating all different rep ranges into your sets, into your workout, sorry. You need to have a strength set, hypertrophy sets, and endurance sets. Now, the question is there exercises that you shouldn't be doing for strength sets? 110%. With your strength sets, you want to be focusing on compound movements. If you don't know what a compound movement is, this is where you are using multiple muscles at the same time. For example, a squat. A squat incorporates your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. Also your core as well, but obviously we are focusing on the lower portion in this video. Hip thrusts, they target your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. Deadlifts, they target your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. Romanian deadlifts, they target your glutes and your hamstrings and your back. But like I said, we're speaking about lower body. That's what a compound movement is. Now, why should you be doing compound movements for your strength sets? The first reason is maximum muscle recruitment. Like I said, compound movements engage multiple muscle groups, which allows you to lift heavier compared to an isolation exercise. Being able to lift heavier is crucial for your strength sets. And I'm sure you all know and all have experienced that when you are doing, for example, a squat, you can lift a lot of weight compared to doing something like a cable glute kickback, which is an isolation exercise, and you are only recruiting one muscle at a time. Another reason why you want to focus on compound lifts for your strength sets is because of functional strength. Your big compound movements, without you even realizing, contribute to your daily life activities. Squats, deadlifts, these help you do various different exercises such as walking, going up the stairs, climbing, all that jazz. So not only is this going to help for muscle growth, but it's also going to help you in your day-to-day life activities now and for the rest of your life. Third reason why you want to make sure that you are doing compound movements only for strength sets is because of hormonal responses. Compound movements tend to stimulate a more significant response to hormones. This includes the response of growth hormones and testosterone, which, may I add, is critical for strength development and muscle growth. Core activation. Now, this is a really important one. Compound movements compared to isolation movements tend to need more stabilization from your core, which is going to enhance overall core strength and stability. This is crucial when you are doing strength sets. If your core is not stabilized, you could hurt yourself. You will end up injured. Injury prevention. That's the next one. Building strength in multiple muscle groups is going to lead to preventing injury because it helps prevent imbalances. Now, obviously, if you've already got imbalances, then that's a whole nother chat. That's a whole nother video. But say, for example, if you just did a strength set on a isolation exercise, you are only going to be strengthening that specific muscle, which means it's going to be imbalanced to the rest of your leg muscles. As well as with injury prevention, it's going to provide better joint stability for you. Compound movements are easier to progressively overload, which means it's going to be easier to do when you are doing your strength sets. Now let's get on to the real shit of what exercises I personally would recommend for you to do for strength sets. These are my deadlift, sumo deadlifts, squats, hip thrusts, leg press, Romanian deadlifts. Because I'm going to talk about whether you should do single leg exercises for strength. Because as you can see, these are using both legs at the same time. These exercises are brilliant to use for your strength sets. You can also use these for hypertrophy sets as well. Don't think that these exercises you can't do for hypertrophy, because you definitely can, but these are exercises that I would definitely use for strength. What I mean by that is, you only want to be doing one strength exercise. So let's say you do a deadlift as your strength exercise. It's going to be your hinge variation. Then you could move on to leg press if you wanted to, and that could be your hypertrophy exercise. That's your squat/lunge variation. Then you could move on to hip thrusts, and this could be your hypertrophy exercise, and that's your thrust variation. And then we all know for your endurance sets, you want to be doing isolation exercises and your abduction movement. If you haven't watched my video about abductions, go on. Now let's talk about whether you should be doing single leg exercises for strength sets. The answer is, but it is also harder to do strength sets for single leg exercises. The first reason why it's harder is because of stabilization. Single leg exercises require a higher level of stabilization and balance. So if you're not necessarily confident with the single leg exercise, going and putting on 60 kg for a Bulgarian split squat is going to be more difficult. Single leg exercises require a lot more core engagement because you are having to balance. If you feel that you are an advanced lifter and you have good, strong core stability, then I definitely would recommend using single leg exercises as a strength set. But if not, stick to what I just put. But if you have muscle imbalances and you know that one leg is stronger than the other, then strength exercises with single leg exercises are definitely going to help improve that. And just remember that you still want to put them at the beginning of your work because you're going to be lifting heavy shit. Here are some single leg exercises that you could do as strength set. I've actually ranked them hardest to easy. Single leg hip thrust is a very difficult exercise to do, and you are having to use a lot of core stabilization. So adding this as a strength set is going to be something that will be difficult and something that I definitely would recommend for advanced lifters only. I have never ever programmed into any of my ladies' program strength sets for single leg hip thrust. Single leg RDL, again, a very advanced movement to do as a strength set. Reverse lunges, a hard movement to do as a strength set. Because you are going through different planes of movement and you are going to be finding it more difficult to stay back, and you've got a big ass weight on your back. Bulgarians. Now you're probably thinking, Shonel, Bulgarians should be at the fucking top. Contradictory to what a lot of people think, even though Bulgarians do feel like absolute death, you are staying stationary when you are doing them, which is why they are not as hard as a reverse lunge. B stance RDL and B stance hip thrust. The reason why these are easier to do as a strength set is because you do have that balance of your leg, of your upper. You may not be putting all the power into the other leg, but you are using it as a balancing technique. And single leg press. If you have a muscle imbalance and you want to improve your strength, single leg press is one of the best exercises that you can use to start off with because you are stable, you have the machine, it controls it for you, and it's generically a very good exercise to use. I hope this helped. Love you, bye.